everyone. Welcome to a YouTube channel of Getting to Know Guests.
So I hope you had
Today,
early parts of this.
We got Don and Ted back with us, returning guests.
This is Ted, that's Don.
Whatever. But we got Tim as a new guest. Michael, you've seen before, but this is his first Getting to Know guest. Greg and Tom, these are returning guests, but they haven't been on a Getting to Know guest before.
We're special.
We're special. I forgot last time.
But they're a couple. The rest of us are just single people.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're not. Yeah, we're a couple. All three of us.
It's a bunch of straight single guys hanging around.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm getting to know guests. I'm going to ask you some questions and we'll answer.
Cameron, what is your most difficult group?
Just lie.
I'll go first, just so you guys
gotta break the ice here.
Yeah, break the ice, Cameron.
Now, where were you born and where did you grow up? I was actually born at Dearborn County Hospital when it was called that, and I actually just grew up all my life in Aurora and Lawrenceburg. So that's me in a simple nutshell. Who wants to go next?
Start down there.
Start down there.
Tim.
No, Tim?
I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana, a hospital called Eskenazi. It doesn't exist anymore, but it changed names. It exists, but it changed names. And interesting fact, I don't know if it's true or not, but I think my sister and I were the first twins born at that hospital.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah. There was a thing on the timeline. I recently visited there. It said first twins ever born in Eskenazi was 1983.
Then they went out of business.
Which was when I was born, 83. It doesn't say the names, obviously, but, I mean, it matches.
They want to protect the twins that were born there.
I was born in Garrett, Indiana, and my biological mother said, I don't want this one. So I ended up being adopted as an infant and lived in Auburn, Indiana most of my life.
But you're doing great for yourself. You got your own house, your own acres.
He's a grown
man.
He's a grown man.
Yeah. You're doing great for yourself.
Well, thank you.
Even though they're
life
you're
is good.
doing great.
You're doing great, Ted. Ted, you're doing great. Keep up the good work.
Michael.
I was born at Good Samaritan Hospital in Dayton, Ohio.
Nice.
And I grew up in Franklin, Ohio, a little south of there. And then I joined the Marine Corps. And I came back to Franklin, Ohio.
There you go.
Okay.
And can I add for Michael?
Yeah.
He's family oriented. He lived 10 minutes away from his mom, right? 15?
No.
Right.
Well,
2 minutes away from my mom, 3 minutes away from my dad.
All
And
right,
probably 5 minutes from my sister.
nice.
Okay.
So he's a
And the reason
Franklin guy.
I do that is because when I was in the Marine Corps, all my friends would go on these really cool vacations, but I felt like I had to go home because I didn't get to see my family much.
Yeah.
And so now I get to live with my family all year long, but when I go on vacation, I can go wherever I want and not feel guilty.
Okay.
So that's why I live near my family.
Okay. That is smart. Right?
I was born and raised in bourbon country. That's why I got 0 out of 8. I'm not bourbon.
Spoiler alert!
I was born in Shelbyville, Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah. Born and raised there.
They want to watch your 0 out of 8 now.
Oh.
Yes, I was born at Good Samaritan Hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio, not Dayton.
All right.
Good sand
Lived
babies.
in the Crack-a-Mack all of my life, except for, well, I should say I was raised in the Crack-a-Mack, which is Mack, Ohio, also Bridgetown, if you want to call it that. And I moved to Florida for 5 years, came back to live in the same house I was taken home from the hospital. I slept in the old bedroom from when I was a little kid. Only then I didn't have to throw shoes at my brother anymore, who talked in his sleep all the time. I used to wail shoes at him, and he thought they flew from the sky, I think. Life is good.
I like that. Don?
I'm from the west, born on the west side, and I don't remember but I don't remember. I don't
The
know.
West Side Story?
West.
Was West Side Story
West Side of
brought up by you?
No. I don't know what hospital I was born in. I can't remember what things said.
Okay.
I've always lived on the west side. Cincinnati.
Okay.
But Don, I loved it when we went to the Gay Pride from where you were from.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Hallelujah.
really interesting, going back to where someone was born and raised, and the people you knew and the history
changes.
you knew.
So they
Yep,
do some
that
good,
was fascinating.
great stuff like that.
And they all knew Don.
Hell to Don. I knew you since a child. Okay, the next question. When you were little, what did you want to be growing up? To ease the tension here, I wanted to be a teacher because I wanted to help kids. But that's before I got into retail, and I kind of just wanted to go to videos and just get away from the public in a way, if you know what I mean. So, but I want to be a teacher growing up, but I went into retail. That was my first job, and it still is my first job. So, yeah. About you?
I think I wanted to be probably like a movie star or a firefighter. Or a firefighter, yeah.
Sure.
Which I actually ended up being a firefighter for about 6 years in Lawrenceburg. So
And you're now
Okay.
a video star.
I'm a
Yeah.
video star. Maybe
Video
maybe
skills,
make
radio
me
star.
a movie star.
I always wanted to be a minister, and I was ordained over 40 years ago, so I was able to fulfill that. And I currently serve as a minister, retired, part-time supply. So I was able to fulfill that in my life.
Yeah, that's great. And you do a great job, I heard. So,
Thank you.
I
yes.
lied to you.
He liked you.
No, he does a good job.
The comedy among friends, guys.
It's the bourbon talking.
You're all going to go to hell.
For me, I wanted to be a professional soccer player, and then I wanted to be a lawyer. And if you had asked me in high school, do you want to be a Marine? I would hell no. I go to college for a year, then I joined the Marine Corps for 4 years, and you should shoot down airplanes. Now I help build the engines,
Okay, that,
aircraft engines,
okay. I
Keep
didn't know that.
them
about
in
you.
the air.
to keep them in there.
So you learn stuff. You learn new stuff about guests on the channel. I didn't even know that about you. Okay.
I grew up wanting to be a pilot and an astronaut,
Okay.
and I got to be a pilot.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a pilot.
No shit.
Yep.
He flew here.
You flew here.
And boy, are my wings tired.
I don't see your spaceship behind me. Okay, that's great to know. Tom?
Well, I grew up, I wanted to be a TV repairman. Why would you repair TVs any longer? You just throw them out and get a new one.
I guess
I
this
told
is
you,
with
I
manufacturer
did take electronics for 2 years.
Okay.
And then decided, no, I'd go into the food business. So I took hotel, motel, restaurant management and ended up working at a grocery store teaching people how to bake. And I actually
Cool.
loved my job most of the time. But of course, you're working with the public, so you never know what's going to happen from day to day.
Yeah. That is truth. Working in retail, I can
It's
vouch
always
for that.
crazy.
Yeah. Don?
When I was younger, I wanted to be an actor.
An actor, okay.
And I did community theater and stuff like that when I was younger. I'm not an actor now.
No, fool me.
Hey, you act really well.
Really? What was your favorite role?
I played John Adams, second president,
Oh.
in 1776.
Did we all know
Almost
this?
his favorite
Nice.
quote.
No, I didn't know.
Okay, see, you learn new stuff on these videos that you never hear.
Who
Lincoln
was,
sucked.
if I'm not mistaken,
If
straight.
anybody there was this
President
quote
of
from
the president?
from the show, but I don't know. I don't think it was fictitious.
I was just curious.
Other than that, I can't think of anything specific he was famous for. And that's
Okay.
stupid. I'm sure there are zillions of things.
Yeah.
No, I'm just curious because I watched the show, The Ghost Show,
Yeah.
and the guy, he's so against. Who's it, Hamilton?
Hamilton.
He's so against
He said he
Hamilton.
hates Hamilton.
That's why I was
Yeah.
just
Oh,
wondering.
okay.
Because he's always got something against Alexander Hamilton,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's good or bad. It's just funny.
Yeah, I didn't know that about you. See, we learned something new, all of us. Okay.
Cameron,
we'll
He started out, didn't he?
I started out, remember? Teacher.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
teacher.
right.
Okay.
That must have gone over my
They're old. They forgot.
Yeah.
It's been 15
We're old, we forgot.
It's been 15 minutes. Shit. New day.
So Cameron, you're not admitting to all those years you wanted to be a hustler, right?
Okay.
Although I do have the $100 bill in case you're still interested.
Thank you. I'll take money from my channel.
Oh my god.
Next question.
Okay, we'll do a couple more questions
All
right.
for this video. What is your biggest fear? Do you want me to go first, or do you want Tim to start?
That's Cameron's question.
Your biggest fear.
Biggest fear.
Biggest fear?
My biggest fear right now at this moment, because of my freaking brother and relative, is heights after riding the drop zone. I am not getting on a roller coaster or drop zone again in my life unless I conquer heights. So that's my biggest fear.
Just don't look down.
Yeah, right. Close
It's
your eyes.
hard to
Close your
do.
eyes.
And you don't.
Then
you
I
don't
look
know
like
how
my
tall
monster
you are.
up there.
And you don't know how tall you are. How high you are up.
Yeah. But heights is probably one of my biggest fears right now, if I were to say. Tim?
I don't know that I have any fears, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah.
So if I put
We just Mr. Macho.
I'm being honest with you. I don't know that I have any fears.
I
I
just
just
don't-
We're gonna put your
I
hand in
live
a
life
box
to the
of
fullest.
spiders.
Well, that's accept what comes, and it is what it is, type of deal. I'm sure if I thought about it, maybe I would, but I'd have to take some time to think about it. Really, honestly.
Do you ever fear losing your kids?
Okay, so yes, that is a fear. I didn't want to get too personal, but yes. If we're going to bring my kids into it, yes. My kids are my fear, to be honest with you.
Okay, losing your
Losing
kids.
kids.
I thought I would get to you.
Anything that has to do with the kids, yes. And I don't,
Because you put yourself above your kids
absolutely.
in any situation.
100%.
No,
So,
but
I
kids
didn't
are
want to,
Yeah.
Yes.
Which that tells me a lot about your personality and your character is
No,
you put others above yourself, which is great to have.
there's a
I
lot.
was trying to type.
And your kids are great. I mean, you do have nice kids. You've done a good job. Well, I do suffer from a phobia, which is a form of mental illness, which is snakes.
That's because he lives in
Oh.
a
So I do have that phobia.
Do you have a lot of that? Do you have a lot of snakes in your
Okay.
acres of land?
Enough.
And all
His
that?
It
basement.
only takes one.
His basement.
So
Yeah.
that is probably my biggest fear. But at 72 years old, I do start fearing death and thinking about that.
Yeah.
That's why I like to be around a bunch of people and friends that I know and just have a good time, and I'm hoping you guys have that. Michael?
So for me, I'm like Tim. I don't know if I really have a fear, but one of my biggest things I didn't want to happen was my closest friends died. My mom died. It's a fear. It's not really a fear, but it's just something you don't want to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to lose your
you don't
loved
want-
ones.
You're never ready for it, no matter when it happens.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm learning.
Yeah, like I was devastated when my grandma and grandpa died. I can't imagine losing a parent or a brother. That would absolutely, that would absolutely just devastate me. So
I
yeah,
lost a best friend and a mother within a week and a half to 2 weeks.
yeah. But you're around a bunch of great people, a bunch of great friends, so that kind of helps out, doesn't it?
I'm looking for myself.
I hope you're his friend.
So I was just sitting here and I'm like, oh shit, I don't have any fears. I mean, shit, I've been through life, but you hear everybody else talk. It's like, okay, I'm afraid of snakes. It's like, okay, and then too, I don't think about death, but that's out there on the horizon. But it's like, I don't know. I just don't.
Well, you're not 72.
I'm not far from it. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just shit comes up, gets solved, and I move on. That's what it is.
That's a good
that's
policy.
the way it is.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I don't have time to dwell on shit. You know, I get.
I tell people all the time, don't dwell in the past.
Right.
Focus
No,
on
I
the
don't
future.
know. I'm very forward looking.
Because some of my friends are stuck in the past, and it's not letting them live their life in
No,
the future, and that's the problem.
I gave up on that.
It took me a
long
while
time
to
ago.
learn that in a way with people, but I've learned it, and I moved on, and I'm having fun with people
Right.
around me that actually do care.
Yeah, you got to live your life.
Yeah. So, yeah, I get that logic.
Yeah.
Tom?
Well, I do fear spiders, snakes, little creepy crawly stuff. Just kind of freaks me out. But I'm not. I don't know. Real fearful for a lot of things. I mean, falling.
What would make you feel the worst?
I think one thing that really freaks me out now, and it never bothered me before, was standing on like the edge of a cliff and looking over.
Oh,
Afraid
that's
of heights.
Yeah.
I used to be able to climb the top of the tree to the thinnest branches.
So you had
and
the same
sit there
fear as
when I
me.
was a kid, and not anymore. I wouldn't even
So-
think about it.
If you guys want to see me and Tom on the drop zone, please like, comment, subscribe right now. We'll do that video.
And I also
Don't say that. It could happen.
yeah.
I also just don't like to go in things that spin in circles either. I remember that crazy ride that used to be
Teacup?
and all of a sudden the floor would drop down and you're stuck
Oh, the
against the wall.
roundup. Yeah.
Oh no, I wasn't afraid of it. It always would make me sick.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, like dizzy headache type thing for the next 5 hours.
Okay, Tom?
Well, I don't have any children, but I'm afraid of losing family and friends, and
Yeah.
worried about what's going to happen to the country. You know.
You're just worried of what's going to happen around everything around you and all that stuff. Yeah, I get you.
Real quick, Cam, sorry.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to quote Chuck Norris here real quick. Sorry.
Okay.
Ooh.
Chuck Norris said in an interview at one time, they asked him, he said, do you have any fears? Do you have any worries? He said, I don't think I do, because why worry, why fear about something when you know at some point that worry and that fear is eventually going to be solved. And so you've wasted all this time worrying and fearing about it when, eventually it's going to be solved.
Yeah.
So, and in short, that's
Yeah.
his quote. So
I agree with don't worry. But
Just live
for
your
me-
life to the
For me,
fullest.
I didn't worry about losing family members. It happened, and then you
Yeah.
get to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's not like
And
I
that's
worried
never
about it.
easy.
It's just that it just happened, and you're like, wow, this sucks.
Yeah.
You just gotta try to figure out how to deal with it.
And I will add on to that. I will say, don't worry about things you can't control, guys. Worry about things you can control, because things you can't control, why are you worrying about them? That's just something that
Waste of your time.
it's a waste of your time.
Right.
Thank you.
It's not productive.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, what is one life lesson you think everyone should know? Did you want to go first?
But yeah, and it's just what we've been talking about. Don't sweat the small stuff. Shit, it's live your life. Get out there.
I like that.
Okay, so for me, I would say, when you get ready to get into an argument, ask yourself, is this conversation worth your friendship
Yeah.
with that person?
Yeah.
Because sure, you could prove them wrong, but guess what? That friendship is now gone.
Yeah.
For instance, somebody, I was with a family in the Marine Corps, and the son, they asked a question, well, who wrote this book or something like that? And I said, this person wrote it. And the son's like, oh, no, he didn't. I was like, okay, that's fine. And then afterwards, when the son left, the mom, she said, you know he didn't write the book, right? I said, yeah. He's like, well, why didn't you argue with me? I said, what's the point?
That's what's yeah.
I said, if I want to argue with somebody, I can stay in the barracks and argue with those Marines all day long.
Right.
I said, but for me to prove him wrong, it's not going to do me any good. It's just going to cause a wall between us.
Yeah.
So just make sure you're arguing about something that's worth arguing about.
Yeah. Because there's been times in the past, I know I'm young still, I might consider myself old being 35, but
You're 35? Oh my
Oh,
god.
shit.
yeah.
Ancient.
But
Sitting next to
I've
John,
lost
you seem
friends.
so young.
I've lost friends over miscommunication signals and confronting them about stuff of not hanging out. And I've kind of learned from my mistakes to be more understanding in life. And I kind of exactly feel how you feel on that. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that. Anyone else?
Go ahead, Ted.
Well, I think the importance of having close friends
Right.
is real important to me now. I was
Right.
in a relationship that lasted 32 years,
Now he's
and I
close
thought
friends.
that would be,
Yeah.
you know, it. But now the family of choice, I think, is really important. Those are the people that you can depend upon, that are there for you
count
when you
on
need
them,
them.
right?
I want to say something about family. You know, like family, you'll always have that family. Now there are some separations that happen, but at least in my family, I know that if something drastic happens, they're all there.
Yeah.
Now, I may not talk to them that often, certain ones more than others, but only because we have a difference in opinions of different things, and it's not worth getting into that fight.
Yeah.
So it's best just not to bring it up, or try just, stay away from that conversation as much as you can. Even though it does pop up every so often, you just gotta, kind of walk away from it for a while, and come back and then realize it's still your family.
Yeah, I agree
So,
with you there.
And that I'll be there for them, they'll be there for me if something happens.
Okay.
And these two little kids playing
I know.
is
It's
just,
like,
uh-oh, pizza.
Intermission.
Burn the pizza.
I got it.
Intermission.
While he's busy, I will say one more thing. Oh my God, I forgot what to say.
You guys can go ahead and
About
talk
family?
when I'm not over there.
No.
I just didn't want anything to burn.
Wow, that was a great build-up, though, Michael.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow,
I was
sitting on the
sitting on the edge of my
chair.
seat.
Gotta get to
Waiting
it.
to hear this.
He's back.
Did he use the restroom?
He's fine.
God, that
I
sounds
think
good.
so.
Okay. Well, Don, I guess you're in the hot seat.
No,
Well, just
what was the question?
spending time with people you care about, friends,
What is one life lesson you think everyone should know? That's
is you'll always be glad you did that.
yeah.
So when you have a chance, go for it.
Yeah.
Oh, I figured out what I was going to say. When you get ready to go into a conversation with somebody and you're at different opinions, you ask that person, what would it take for you to change your mind? If they can't give you anything, then don't even finish the conversation.
That's right. Don't
there's
even
no
start
point
it. Yeah.
in starting that conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's already.
Because you're not going to change their mind. And
No.
You're not going
Hi,
to.
It's-
Tim. Welcome back to the
It's gonna
video.
be frustrating,
And you're not going to have an intelligent
It-
conversation because
it's
they
gonna-
will not even look at a different point of
It's
view.
based on emotion.
Yeah.
And I just had that conversation with my dad. I won't tell you about what, but he wanted to talk about something. I said, hold on. I said, is there anything I could say that's going to change your mind or make you look at a different point of view? He said, no. I said, well, then I'm not going to have this conversation with you.
Right.
I said, because we're just going to argue.
It's not worth it.
And I said, you're not intelligent enough to know any different.
And see, that's what
It's
I.
terrible to say, but I
That
said
was
it way
tough.
before.
And
That
see,
was tough.
that's what I. On any videos or any parties I throw, I try to encourage that everyone has a difference in opinions and it's okay. But as far as arguing, as far as who's right and who's wrong, I'm just like, who cares about that? Just live life and just have fun and just let bygones be bygones. It's like if you hold a grudge too long, you're going to really regret it. I've learned that in life with. I held a grudge in life against my grandparents in the past, and then my grandma passed away a year later, so I regret that every day of my life. So it's not easy. So that's something I want to encourage on the videos is let bygones be bygones. Who cares who's right, who's wrong? It's just that's just small stuff. It's like, get along. Tim, you're the final one.
That's why you left. You want to say that?
What is one life lesson you think everyone should know? You can just make it simple.
You know, in my many, many years on this earth, as you know, maybe aside from 10 years, I'm going to piggyback off of what everybody said, to be honest with you. For what, you know, Greg said about not sweating small things, Ted and Tom said about, you know, family and everything. It honestly is not sweating the small things. Having a core family group of people that you can trust and go to in those times when, you know, things are hard and difficult, whether it's losing a job or losing a loved one, you can go to them and talk. I don't care who you are, whether you're Chuck Norris or whether you're the Pope, you know, you need somebody to talk to. You need somebody that's going to be there to have your back and to listen. You know, you don't necessarily need somebody to input, but you need somebody to listen, and not to sweat the small things. You know, like I said earlier, you know, it's not, you know, take every day for what it is and what you said. You know, obviously, it's a little bit of everything, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And as you get older, you'll realize that, you know, and pardon my language, but when people offend you or say something, you just don't give up flying F. You know, you don't care because it blows over you. Because you've lived life, you've learned.
Because if you let things get to you, it's going to cause so much hate in you, and it's just going to,
you don't need that.
You don't need that in your life.
Be the bigger, be the better, be the bigger and the better person.
Yeah.
Because in the end, who does it gain? Who does it? You know, who do you? What does it matter? You know, it's
because in the end, if you react different when you meet somebody, when you see somebody you don't like, they are renting space in your own head because they're making you change your lifestyle because
right there
you're changing your methods because of them.
You are.
Yeah. That's a smart decision.
Yeah.
That's actually great advice in that conversation. We'll do one final question, and this is just a one-word answer. That's all I need from each of you. What's your favorite color? I'll go first. It's always been blue for some reason. I don't know why, but ever since I was a child, I just like the color light blue, like the sky. You know what I mean. So let's go down the line here. Tim?
I'm going to say, so it used to be blue, but honestly, I think it was green.
Green now?
Because I love the Ninja Turtles growing up.
Oh, they were badass. Yes. Ted?
Blue.
Blue?
I have to go with emerald green.
Emerald
Green marine.
Okay, we got a green. We got a tie.
Blue.
Blue. Okay.
That's great.
Tom?
I think